Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 8 of season 2 of the F1 2018 Williams Road to Glory career mode, and a little bit of an apology going into this one. Unfortunately, free practice and qualifying, my Elgato and my whole computer actually decided to crash just as I finished qualifying, unfortunately, so there is no footage from qualifying moving into today's round, which, as I said, I can only apologise for, but obviously we've still got the most important bit, the race. Now, this is being recorded just after Kimi Räikkönen and Charles Leclerc have announced their teams for next season. Obviously, let me know down in the comments what your guys' thoughts are on that, whether you think, it was the right move by Ferrari, whether you think it was the wrong move by Ferrari. Just try not to murder each other down in the comments. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts and feelings for that are. Me, personally, is sort of a neutral in this. I honestly wasn't too worried about who got the seat. I think it's sort of a bit sad that Kim is slowly slipping back down the order, but I may make that into a different video in itself. But let's move on then into round 8 of the season here in France. Last season it was actually Sebastian Vettel that was able to take home the Grand Prix victory there. I think he was 8 seconds clear over Valtteri Bottas in that Grand Prix. Yeah, he had a good race out. Obviously he needs that good race out once again. He's now second in the Drivers' Championship behind his teammate. Yeah, Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen were around at the podium in last season's Grand Prix. Kimi Räikkönen up in P4. Hülkenberg and Sainz doing a very, very good job for Renault in their home Grand Prix, with Daniel Ricciardo down in 7th, Alonso 8th, Perez 9th, Esteban Ocon in 10th, and we would just miss out down in 12th place after that Grand Prix. Obviously, I think if I do recall correctly, we actually made a bit of a mistake right at the very end. We were actually right on the back of Kevin Magnussen as well. So this is a track that has usually gone quite well for us. We've got even more and more upgrades coming onto the car going into this weekend. I think we've got 2 more minor upgrades now. It takes us up to like the 4th or 5th best aerodynamic in Formula 1. Sebastian Vettel, though, would be on the front row ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, half a second clear of anyone else. Ferrari looking very, very comfortable coming into this race. We would actually start up in P7 there after a fantastic qualifying job, if I do say so myself, which I'm really happy with Lance getting into Q2 up in P14, and then further down the order you can see the Toro Rossos still way off the pace on the whole. Haas now really starting to show their weakness in Formula 1, as well as I don't think either of their drivers actually made it through into Q3. So the team, just wanted me to try and keep it tidy in the opening couple of laps. But this is really now sort of a turning point for this car, I feel. This is where we can either really start to get good points in this Williams car. We'll try and get on the cusp of points most weekends. Now, obviously, we've scored points in, I think, the last 3 races in a row here, which is really going quite well for ourselves in the moment, but obviously hoping we can try and continue that run today. But here we are then on the grid, ready for the French Grand Prix. It is 5 lights here in Paul Ricard, and it's lights out, and away we go. Actually off to a fairly, a bit of a poor start on the whole, but fortunately for me, Alonso get a much worse one. Means we are going to be fairly nice and tidy in towards turn 1 there. Daniel Ricciardo is going to try and look around the outside of Hamilton there. Unfortunately, they both break very, very early. Unfortunately, I get a wonderful double lockup. Means I'm going to run wide on the exit of the corner, try to rejoin the track nice and safely there, but unfortunately we have dropped out quite a few places there, all the way now down to 10th place there. So Sainz, Perez and Alonso have all been able to get past me there. We try to have a look back around the outside of Carlos Sainz, but not able to make it work. Nico Hülkenberg tries to have a sniff up the inside here as we come out onto the back straight, but unfortunately he's not able to make that work just yet. So we will hold on to P10 there, but as I said, a bit unfortunate with how far down the order we dropped off the start of this Grand Prix. Alonso and Sergio Perez actually fighting as we come down in towards the chicane on the back straight. We're just going to try and get a good run on the exit here, but it doesn't look like we're going to be close enough to try and capitalise just yet, as they're going to be going side by side in towards that long flowing 90-degree right-hander there. Sainz is going to have a look at the inside of the Mclaren as well there, and he's going to be able to make that work, I think. On the whole, he will have the inside for the next corner there, so a wonderfully optimistic move from Carlos Sainz here. We're going to try and look to the outside of Fernando Alonso here, but unfortunately just can't keep the car turned in time there, which means unfortunately we do stay down in P10 here as we come through the final couple of corners. So yeah, both Fernando and myself dropping down the order ever so slightly, both Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez jumping up the order ever so slightly as we come through the final corner onto lap 2. Kimi Räikkönen sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix and will still be in the lead there. We are right around the outside of Fernando Alonso for a car with the, I think, the 3rd best engine in Formula 1 at the moment. He is not having a particularly good day out at the moment there. On to the end, though, of lap 2. As you can see, we're now all over the back of Carlos Sainz here. Are we going to be able to get a very good run? Yes, we are here. Seems that, you know, this Williams car at the moment doing very, very well down the straight. We're going to try to look to the outside of the Renault driver there. A little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, but we do make it work right around the outside. He does try to squeeze me out over the curb, but we will make that move work. And now up into P8 of this Grand Prix. Next up on the old hit list will be Daniel Ricciardo here, as he's actually on a bit of a squabble with Sergio Perez, obviously hoping we can try and capitalise on this. But both Daniel Ricciardo and myself will dive into the pit lane on the end of that lap, so that's going to be, you know, our first of 2 stops in this Grand Prix. Going to be very, very tight to see how we're going to be able to fare against all of the one-stoppers in this race. But unfortunately, we get held in the pit lane as well. They're going to lose out a little bit of time, but I think that's Carlos Sainz there. Unfortunately, he's going to be able to capitalise on that over both myself and Daniel Ricciardo here. But yeah, we still come out all the way down in P18 here at this stage of the day. Still plenty of time to go, obviously, in this Grand Prix. We're only on lap 5 of 27 here, and obviously looking over these next few laps to try and capitalise on the other drivers. You can see Sergio Perez on the end of lap 6. We've got a few drivers as well in the pit lane. Means, well, we do set fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well, which is obviously really, really nice to see. Perez is going to try to look up the inside of Daniel Ricciardo in towards T1. There is a huge amount of contact made between the pair of them. That's going to give me a fantastic opportunity to try and capitalise as we come out now down in towards, I think it's turn 3 and turn 4 there. Ricciardo, though, locks up to Narnia, and, well, that's unfortunately going to set him way, way back down the order as well. The AI have no way of rejoining, unfortunately, on this game. But yeah, that's going to mean Perez and I are going to be ahead of one of the much, much faster cars here. We're slowly but surely trying to close in on the back of Sergio Perez, but one lap later, Grosjean would, well, find himself getting lost out on all of the blue runoff area, and, well, that'll be another place made up for ourselves. A couple of laps later on after that, well, we're closing up to the back of Sergio Perez here. Are we going to be able to get close enough? No, we certainly are not, especially when he's got the slipstream on Max Verstappen here. They're going to cost each other so much time. We're going to go for an optimistic lunge down the inside of the pair of them there. Unfortunately, Sergio Perez actually gets sent out wide, as unfortunately he made a bit of contact with Max Verstappen there. But what an optimistic double overtake from myself there. Now moving ourselves up into P12 of this Grand Prix. Unfortunately, make a little bit of mistake on the exit of their next corner here. And, well, Max Verstappen is going to try and send a move there up the inside. A bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. Max for crashing is certainly coming back into Formula 1 at this stage of the day. We get a horrific run on the exit of the corner there as Max tried to go for a NASCAR move. NASCAR British touring car move out in towards the final corner there. But breaking down in towards turn 1, we're not going to be able to get close enough to try and keep the nose up the inside. But on the exit of the corner, we ran a little bit wide. And unfortunately, down is going to cost us any sort of run. Obviously, the Red Bull still a much quicker car than myself, but really, Williams, what a car they have started to build us now. Once we get all these aero upgrades on this car, it is really, really starting to come alive. And although I think the game recognises it as like the 6th best car, honestly, it tracks like this, where I personally go quite well as well. Honestly, I think we are best of the rest, well and truly. What a turnaround it has been over these last few rounds, but obviously we're really, you know, it's just the beginning just yet. But now onto lap 11, all over the back of Brendan Hartley, and, well, this is going to be a fairly simple move, just like we were able to do last time out at the Canadian Grand Prix. We're going to move ourselves back up into P11 of the Grand Prix here, and obviously a lot of guys still ahead of me have yet to make their first stop of the day, so we will be able to capitalise on them. As soon as I say that, lap 12, well, the end of lap 12, start lap 13, all these guys are going to be making their first and only pit stop of the day. Moves us now back up into P7 of this Grand Prix. I think we got one Sauber that is yet to make his first pit stop of the day here. Obviously, usually Charles Leclerc goes for a bit of a weird and wonderful strategy that always ends up working out. But on to the end, though, of lap 15, obviously, we come in for our second and last pit stop of the day. And a bit of a weird pit stop thing there. Not too sure what to make of that. Hamilton, you can just see, comes out ahead of us. We do, fortunately, hold up Max Verstappen, though, which is really, really going to help us out, you know, if we can stay close to him. It turns out Max actually had a front wing change or like a hold in the pit lane. I'm not too sure. But that's going to mean we're going to be able to come out ahead of the Red Bull driver here. And that, I think, inherits us a net P5 in this Grand Prix. Obviously, after Daniel Ricciardo was really, really struggling in the early stages there. The exit now, the pit lane on lap 16. We've got 12 laps to go of this Grand Prix, and now it's just a case of trying to move past all these guys that have only made the one stop. You know, we'll be quicker throughout the entirety of this final stint, but all we now got to try and do is capitalise and move our way back through the order here. And, you know, it's just about trying to make up as many places as we possibly can then, as we move on to lap 17 here. A couple more drivers actually making their second and final stop of the day. Perez and I think it was Van Dorn there both dived in as we actually set the fastest final sector of this Grand Prix here. But yeah, just really interesting about this Williams car though. As I said, you know, around tracks like this with all these aero upgrades, it really does feel quite quick on the whole. But this is the gamble we now really need to worry about, is if we do get changes moving into Season 3, we could really, well, you know, we could find ourselves as either a top tier runner, you know, really able to hassle for the World Championship, or we could find ourselves back down, you know, sort of P9 overall though, which is obviously a really interesting dynamic in this series. On to lap 10, well, sorry, on to lap 18, closing back and past Marcus Ericsson here using the overtake mode, the DRS and the overtake ERS there means we're now back up into P9, and obviously hoping we can try and capitalise on K-Mag as well here as we come out onto the second of the back straight here. I think we are going to be able to try and have a look to the outside of them as we come in towards the long flowing right-hander here. Are we going to be able to make it work? Yes, we do. Right around the outside of the Haas car there, and now we move back up into P8 of this Grand Prix. 9 laps to go here of this Grand Prix, and still a couple more cars that I think we do need to try and capitalise on in the later stages of this Grand Prix. Unfortunately, Esteban Ocon in his home Grand Prix would unfortunately fall to the wayside right towards the end of the race as well. There were just 8 laps to go of this race, but it will mean we are up an extra place in this Grand Prix here. And now on to the end of lap 24, the start lap 25. 3 laps to go now, and it's looking like we're going to be all over the back of my arch rival Charles Leclerc once more here. Obviously, he was just able to hit me last time at the Canadian Grand Prix, but I really do feel he is probably my big championship rival in this series at the moment. Coming through the first couple of corners so you can see how much time we gain towards the outside, in towards the next corner there, and we swoop right around his outside there, pinch him out over the curve there, and that's going to be us now up into P6 of this French Grand Prix here. And yeah, really happy with that at this stage of the Grand Prix. Only 2 laps to go now, and we really just want to try and hold on to this position as we come through the final, well, the late stages of this Grand Prix. But as I said, what a car Williams have been able to build me in this series on the whole. As I said, you know, I really do feel around tracks like this we are right there to sort of like best of the rest here. We've got Sergio Perez, who, you know, on the same strategy as me, was only a couple of seconds back by the very end, but obviously this is a track that goes quite well for Force India as well here. So, you know, coming through the final couple of corners, obviously I will certainly take this race result. But as I said, you know, it's going to be an interesting dynamic over the next, well, towards the end of the season, obviously moving into next season. You know, we've got such a good car now, but if, you know, we end up with an aero change, we could be absolutely screwed. We could find ourselves right the way back down at the rear of the field, which is obviously the really fantastic gamble that I love in the F1 2018 career mode there. But through in towards the final couple of corners, Kimi Räikkönen is going to make it 2 from 3, and now Ferrari make it 7 from 8 in the Williams Road to Glory career mode there. I think, sorry, that's Kimi Räikkönen's, third win in a row, if I'm not mistaken there. But out of the final corner, it is going to be P6 in the French Grand Prix. Best of the rest, and 8 points in the bag.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more.
So there we are then, guys, the end of the French Grand Prix, and what a turnaround it was for myself. We will certainly take that good race result in the end of the day there, as you can see, it was, as I said, Kimi Räikkönen that was able to come through for the race win. They're able to take home another 7 points out of his, well, I say out of his teammate, extend his gap over his teammate now to 22 points overall. Seb would come through for P2, obviously making it 7 wins out of 8 for Ferrari. But Nico Hülkenberg for Renault in their home Grand Prix, able to utilise the one-stop to absolute perfection there, and will come through for his very first Formula 1 podium there. Massive congratulations to him, and obviously I'm sure Renault are really, really happy with that at their home Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas would come through for P4 and P5 after spending a lot of the race actually squabbling overall there. We would come through for P6. As I said, I sort of feel, you know, we were probably best of the rest there. You know, the Renault had a much better strategy than myself, but Perez would come through just, well, half a second behind me at the end of the Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc would come through for P8, Kevin Magnussen P9, and Marcus Ericsson would round out a double Sauber point haul in that race. One thing I would say as well is I think this was recorded after the Williams buff in career mode as well. So, you know, the Williams and the Sauber were given an ever so slight buff relative to the rest of the field there, which probably helps us out just a little bit more. Max Verstappen even would come through for P11 there with Stoffel Van Dorn 12th, Pierre Gasly, the other, well, one of the other Frenchmen in P13. Actually, all 3 Frenchmen, 2 of them retiring and the other finishing down in P13. Not a good day out for those guys. Brendan Hartley in 14th. Daniel Ricciardo would face issues towards the end of the Grand Prix, coming through in 15th, with Lance Stroll having a very, very poor race out once again. 16th, and Fernando Alonso would round out the order there. So clearly the McLaren driver facing a whole host of issues in that Grand Prix. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, well, now Kimi Räikkönen leads on 150 points there. 22 clear of his teammate Sebastian Vettel now, but Ferrari have over a 2-race victory over any other driver. Lewis Hamilton still holds on to P3. They're in a bit of no man's land. 22 points clear of Daniel Ricciardo in 4th. Sergio Perez, with that good result, jumps himself back up into P5 overall. Just going to show how good that that Force India car really, really is, ahead of Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas. Just 5 points clear of myself. In terms of other changes, Hülkenberg would obviously re-jump Fernando Alonso overall, and Stoffel Van Dorn would drop way, way back down the order as a Weller, all the way back down to P15, but obviously my teammate Lance Stroll still in last. Mercedes would re-jump Ferrari, as well as Renault would re-jump McLaren. They're 30 points clear, the pair of them now, over Toro Rosso there. I'm sure that is very, very depressing for the Toro Rosso team on the whole. But yeah, Ferrari, yeah, well, 135 point lead near enough, got double the points of Mercedes still after that Grand Prix. But yeah, quite an interesting one for ourselves. I'm sure Claire has got some very, very interesting questions to ask us after that race.
Amazing performance out there. You must be really happy.
Yeah, no, we'll certainly take that result.
Your team must be ecstatic with how you're performing.
Yeah, I think they are. I do it just to see the smile on their faces. Probably a good result. But I think the good option we're going to pick there, our showmanship, has increased.
What happened with your fuel?
I don't get this question. I run on low fuel for a lot of the Grand Prix. I don't get why she keeps asking this. I always give it a no comment, and then she gives me the sarky, oh great, you never answered my questions comment, which really, really bugs me. I'm going to be completely honest with you. But yeah, I think we'll gloss over that and focus on the fact we've got 8 more points in the bag now, up to 45 points in this series here. In terms of driver rivalries, obviously we're going to be leading the pair of them now over both K-Mag and my teammate Lance Stroll, which I will certainly take. I think we should also be getting a resource points bonus as well exiting this Grand Prix. See, 46 for disciplinary, 60 for race versus quality, 92% clean out, a first driver bonus of 22, session participation 25, race bonus 167, and a 400 goal team goal bonus as well. Takes us now up to 1,488 R&D points as we move into the Austrian Grand Prix next time out. Hopefully we are going to be able to pile on one extra upgrade on this car as we come towards the end of round 8 of the season. Williams now are, well, the team feel I'm absolutely maxed out there. Pretty much every team very, very happy with myself. Force India, McLaren, Toro Rosso, Renault, Haas. I think Haas is ever so slightly off maxed out, so is Renault there. But even the top 3 teams very, very happy with my performances as well. You know, potentially Mercedes might want to try and snag me, but obviously we are bringing Williams back to the top, make Williams great again in this Road to Glory career mode here. After that, though, I'm not too sure what I want to do next. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see. You know, if I can ever get Williams back to the top, we may get screwed by the regulation changes for all we know there. But yeah, in terms of our driver now, we are now veteran in Formula 1. We've got the potential to do a new contract as well here. We're going to try and expected quality, you know, don't really matter all too much. And obviously the expected race as well. P10, you know, I think points every race to the end, obviously consistently to the end of the season is certainly something we should be able to aim for. 75 bonus, all upgrade times reduced to 1 week, 3 per department, and then we're going to try and go for level 2 on the pit stop efficiency. Probably a little bit of an overestimation of our own performances, but, you know, we'll certainly try to give it a go. You know, a very, very aggressive contract proposal here, but unfortunately it's going to be a much better than we're going to be able to achieve there. So we're going to give it another go. We're going to bring down the pit stop efficiency to none, something I don't really care about. Unlimited upgrades, we're going to drop that back down to 3. We're actually going to drop that back down to 2. No, we'll keep it at 3. And that will actually be good enough there. Miles good enough, turns out, by the end of this Grand Prix weekend. So we'll now be allowed 3 upgrades. Every upgrade now only takes 1 week. And we get as many resource points as we possibly can from the team in that sense as well. Means we are going to be able to get 1 more upgrade on the car as we move into the next Grand Prix. We're actually going to go for the the rear wing outer straights as well, which is actually going to mean if we get this upgrade on the car, we're going to have the best aerodynamic car in Formula 1 here, which I will certainly take on the whole there. But there we are then, guys. That has been the end of the French Grand Prix. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it, and make sure you do like and subscribe if you're new around here as well. YouTube even is being a little bit strange with its subscribers at the moment, so it's sort of unsubbing and resubbing people at the moment. But hopefully I will see you guys next time for round 9 tomorrow at the Austrian Grand Prix.